Okay, guys, we will go ahead and get started. I had asked Kristen Carter to lead on our call tonight because, and I said this in the introduction about the call for tonight, but when I look at so many of our people on our team, I see those people that just stand out that, are in that I am becoming the true change, what we're talking about this month, and that making the shift. And Kristen is just one of those people that stands out to me. She is one of my personally sponsored coaches, and so I've gotten to know her more, and just know the change that's over time. And I'm sure I don't even know all of it, but I just invited her on tonight because I wanted her just to share a little bit of her story. And just backstory is Kristen and her husband and my husband worked together, and we may have met. I think maybe we had met once before my family moved away from there. But I will not forget. I believe it was January, about a year and a half ago, and I probably like 7 o'clock on a Saturday morning, I posted about my upcoming challenge. And by the time I got done with my workout in the morning and checked my messages, I had a message from Kristen that she was interested in the group. And I didn't even know that she followed my page. I didn't even really know the name. We had met once, but I didn't really know who it was until she was like, yeah, we have your dog, because she had taken the dog that we had given up so lovingly before we moved. But anyway, when I talked to Kristen that day, we went back and forth, and I went through the forming process and asking questions to make sure it was a good fit for her. And within like a couple hours, she had gone all in, bought her challenge pack, and was ready to go. And she was just one of those people that when she was ready, she was ready. And I'll never forget, just the way that went that day, that I could just tell she was one of those people who were ready to go. And from the time she jumped in the first challenge group, she took that information. She was doing 21-day fix, and she followed it to a T, all the way through that 21 days. And for those of you who are in our Mission True Change group, you'll recognize her because she's one of those consistent people that shows up every single day. I could probably count on my one hand how many times she may have missed. Maybe it's not even been that many in the last year and a half, because she's super consistent at going for her goals and reaching outside her comfort zone, and just taking steps forward, sometimes big and sometimes little ones forward, but she's consistent and moving forward. So I just asked Kristen tonight to get on and share a little bit of her story, of what just this whole opportunity from challenger to coach to all of it, what it had done in her, and where she is at now from where she started a year and a half ago. So I will turn it over to you, Kristen, and let you just share. Thank you for being on.
Thank you. After hearing that lovely introduction, it makes me and I'll kind of touch on it later about the importance of the community and the support that we get, because not everybody would realize all those things, and it's something that as far as like posting in the challenge groups, it's something that I do because it keeps me on track. But having somebody to say, look at you did it, like, even as, yes, I might act like I'm 3, but that positive reinforcement really does make you want to keep going. So for that, I thank you for always doing that. So I'm super nervous, and I'm very shy and quiet. And I think that's one of the things that Becky always has helped me with, is that, she says that she used to be that way. I'm not sure that she really was. But, and seeing how she can let her personality come through, and seeing that she can do that has, like, in so many other ways, shown me that I can do it too. Like, it might be uncomfortable, but it's definitely something that you can do. So before I talked to Becky, I quietly followed her page and her postings. I am a wife and a mom. I have 2 boys, and I'm mostly stay-at-home mom. I do work some, but it kind of puts you in a very lonely place. It doesn't seem like it would be that way, but for some reason you get kind of isolated, and you get so wrapped up in the world of your kids that you kind of lose any adult interaction. So I felt kind of lost in that area. I was trying to be healthier, like we ate whole wheat bread, and if we got fast food, I would get a kid's meal, except it's not quite as big and not as bad. And I had done Weight Watchers before. I grew up with a very unhealthy view of my weight and my body and food. And I still have those issues as far as food. I love food. Food is very comforting, and we use it a lot as a reward. And so it brings about good thoughts when you get the food. But I've always struggled with it. I've struggled with my weight. I remember being in elementary school, even then being overweight. I was significantly overweight when I was in high school, and had kind of yo-yoed back and forth, but wasn't able to keep the weight off. And it's because I wasn't doing a sustainable program. I had a goal to lose weight, and I would do that. But then as soon as I stopped counting points or whatever I was trying to do, then the weight would come back. So that's something that I've always battled. And then you have 2 babies. That takes a toll on your body as well. And I was pregnant, so I ate kind of what I wanted. And then I was breastfeeding. And then as soon as I stopped breastfeeding, I got pregnant again. And then I breastfed for another year. So there was another kind of stretch where I could pretty much eat whatever I wanted without consequence. And so that's when I reached out to Becky, is because we were finished breastfeeding and I had gained like 5 pounds, and I was like, okay, like now's the time that I need to make some change. So that's when I reached out to her. And even Becky might kill me for this. A few months before I did that, I had ordered Pio off eBay, and I survived that for about 2 weeks, and then I stopped. I've always thought Pio sounded cool, but once you get into it, and then you kind of wears off. But I didn't have anything to hold me accountable. So I think that's one of the reasons why I wanted to start Pio and the challenge group. I needed to do something different because I needed a reset. So my motivation for reaching out was to lose the weight, but not only to do that, but now I have a family and my kids are eating real food now. So it's my responsibility to start now. And I don't want them to have those issues with food that I had. Did I have birthday cake yesterday? And did my kids have birthday cake? Yeah, we did. Those are fun times. But it's not something that that I want them to grow up thinking that they need all the time, and that's the only way that they can be happy. And I'm trying to create that positive image that food is fuel for your body. And if you don't feed it right, it's not going to function the way that you want it to. So I'm trying to teach my family that, as well as working on it with myself. So I started 21 Day Fix with Becky and her awesome challenge group. When I first started, I had one drawer in the refrigerator and I had a box of food, and they were mine. And I stuck to it 100%. And I even cut out Diet Coke for 3 weeks. And guys, I did not drink water before that. And I'm still not a huge fan of water. But I lived off Diet Coke. It's bad. That's all that I drink. Or coffee. So that was a big thing for me. So it was kind of hard when I first started because I had my box of food, but at the same time I was cooking something different for everybody else. Whereas now, our refrigerator, for the most part, the kids and the husband still have some less than great things, but they're much better than what they were before. In our pantry, when I'm having one of those days where I eat everything, it's still not a horrible day because we don't keep a lot of bad stuff in our house. I might overeat, but it's an apple and peanut butter or a popcorn cake. Like, it's not something horrible. So it's been nice to see those changes and knowing that my kids are used to that, and that they have healthier options too. And then as far as like something that's still harder for me now is accepting that this is a journey, and that sometimes you fall back a little bit. My husband took a picture of me while we were camping, and I was on paddleboard. I had like my 2-piece bathing suit on, which we'll get to that in a little bit. And I don't look as fabulous as I did back in February when I busted my butt with 21 Day Fix Extreme because we were going to the beach. And it was my first time wearing a 2-piece bathing suit, and I don't know when. And so I didn't have quite the same physique that I had a few months ago, but that's okay because I have, I worked really hard for that. And it is a journey, and it's where you are, and just accepting like that's where you are and being okay with that. And just keeping moving forward. Like, it's not like I gave up and like fell into bad habits. I just not slacked off a little. I don't know. I just accepting that it's a journey and you're not always going to be at your peak, and that's an okay thing. As far as some things that have been easier for me along the way is getting rid of unhealthy foods. Some of that is physical. At this point, if I wanted to eat a cheeseburger and French fries, I would pay for it greatly. I would be nauseous and feel horrible. So because of that, you just don't crave those things as much anymore because you realize they're not worth it. Like, I might have a few bites of it, but I do not want the whole thing because it's just not worth it. And learning that it is fueling your body and those things make you feel bad. So it's easier to stay away from them. So now, my life now, I do a workout every day. Even if it's a rest day, I have a really hard time. Like, tomorrow needs to be a rest day. And I'm like, I have to do something. Like, so it's picking something easier, but that's a good, it's good for your body to move. Your body gets to that point where it desires that, getting up and getting going. So even if it's like a rest day, usually I'll do, I'll practice the flow sections of my PIO stuff, or do something a little less intense. I still count containers. I don't measure everything out, but I still use the 21 Day Fix app on my phone, and I still track all of my foods because I think that keeps, I'm not like super strict about, like, I don't measure everything out, but I'm very conscious of what I eat. And I think that's important because it can get kind of slack. And that's when I think bad habits would creep back in. So I still am very conscious of that. I'm working on a more positive relationship with food. Like I said, learning that these foods are what fuel your body and that's what makes it feel good in the long run. And that 10 minutes that it takes you to devour a cheeseburger is not worth the next day or two of feeling like a sack of potatoes. So just working on that, and then balance. When I did 21 Day Fix, the first round that I did it, like, I stuck to it 100%. No cheats, no anything, like, measured everything out. It was like on par. Whereas now, I had a birthday cake, but it was a very small piece. And if, things aren't perfect, like, I'm at my parents' right now, and they try to feed me and accommodate me, but it's not always perfect. And that's okay, because tomorrow when I get home, I know that I have my food, I have my meal plan, I have everything that I need to be successful, and I can't stress that today I might have had an extra carb or was under a vegetable. So it's just really learning to find that balance while still moving forward and not letting that become hurdles. My biggest gains from being in this is the community. you ladies are amazing, and you truly are like what keeps me in this. Whether it's checking in the group, seeing the comments, following you on Facebook and seeing your motivational posts throughout the day, Becky touching base, and all those things that just make you feel like you belong. And I think that's really important. Like, when I first started 21 Day Fix, I was doing it by myself, and it was scary and it was hard because you felt like you were by yourself. So having that community and seeing that everybody is, struggling with the same things that you are, but we're pushing through. We got our workout in, even though it was a crap day, or we didn't have the whole pizza, maybe a piece or two, but we didn't eat the whole thing. There's struggles, but we're here to support each other. And I don't think that can be downplayed enough. Or it can't be like, I don't know, like it's just a huge piece that I think is missing. Like when I did PIO by myself and it didn't work. Because I didn't have people saying, you can do this, and, way to go, way to get that workout in, even though your kids are insane and climbing on top of you. And just being a part of that. I think I'm in a place that a lot of people were, as far as you're at home most of the time, you kind of lose that connection with the outside world. And even if you do work, or, you're surrounded by a lot of people, they might not always be health-minded. So having that group of people. And then since then, I'm friends with lots of you on Facebook, which is amazing because throughout the day, or even friends with other coaches or other teams, that seeing that throughout the day, those reminders, has become a norm. And that keeps you going throughout the day. Even when things are hard, just seeing that has been a huge to keep me going. The whole Team Wildfire is just amazing. Nothing but support and love, which is nice when sometimes you don't get that from what you're surrounded by. The other biggest gain that I have is the confidence in myself. If Becky would have asked me to do something crazy like this a year ago, I would have been like, no. I am an introvert. I'm very socially awkward. I don't mean to be. I just am. And so being in front of people is very hard for me. And I'm not fun and creative like, a lot of people are that like to interact. So it's scary for me to be in front of everybody, but the confidence is definitely been a huge part of this. And not only is it physical, like, yes, I got into a two-piece bathing suit, which I haven't done in like forever. And not only did I put it on, I felt amazing. My body is not perfect. I've had 2 babies. I have stretch marks. Like the right side of my stomach sticks out more than the left. Like it's not perfect. I jiggle when I walk, but I've worked hard, and I try to just I have confidence even in that 2-piece bathing suit, even with my flaws, because you know what? I have busted my tail, and I feel good with my body, and I don't know if I've ever been able to say that at any other point in my life. So that's been a new feeling for me, which is kind of really, really crazy. And I feel strong and healthy. And these are just things that sound easy to say, but when you actually feel them, when you're out there and you're walking around and you feel good, it resonates everywhere. It's more than just a physical feeling. It is true, I don't know, like those are amazing feelings that I had never experienced personally. And to have that just because, and it's like I said, it's more than physical. It's knowing that I pushed myself on that workout. I might not have lasted the whole minute, but by George, I tried. And even if I had to stop and breathe, I jumped back in. And like those things are just, I don't like, they're things that we should celebrate and be proud of, which should boost your self-confidence because you did it and you can do it. And that's just an amazing feeling. My other confidence thing was teaching PIO. I love PIO. I thought it sounded cool, which is why I ordered it off eBay. Later, after I did 21 Day Fix, I did turn around and do the PIO program. And then I did it again a few months later. And even the first time that I went through it and the first time that I did sweat, and Shalene's like, is there a PIO live workout around you? If not, you need to teach it. And I was like, yeah, no, that's not for me. But every time that she said it, I'm like, Shalene, stop talking to me. Like, I felt like I just had this feeling inside of me, like, that's something that you need to do. And then I manned up and I told my husband, I was like, I'm going to take that instructor class because I love PIO and I'll get new workouts every 2 months. I'm not going to teach it though. So then I went, and the amazing Emily O'Connor was our teacher. She was fabulous and so much fun. And I'm like, she brings so much happiness and so much energy to this. I'm like, and I love this. I'm like, why can't I go share it? Now, I am not the instructor that Emily is. Like I said, I'm socially awkward. But I try really hard. When people walk in, I try to engage with them. I always thank them for coming to my class because I am so glad that they are there. But, they're always like, I feel amazing afterwards. And that makes me happy. And it's not because I'm an amazing instructor, and it's not because the PIO class is anything miraculous. It is pretty fabulous though. But it's because they did it and they were there and they had the energy and they showed up and they're proud of themselves. And that makes me happy. So I love that. And I not only did I have the confidence as far as like standing in front of the people to do that, but it also was the confidence as far as I was a year and a half ago, I was in no physical shape to be able to remotely think about doing that. And now I can. And I wouldn't quite say that it's easy, but I have practiced it so much that like, if y'all have ever done PIO, and Shalene will say, it gets easier, or, you think this is hard now. I find it easy because, I've done it. And I'm like, she's right. Like those knee to opposite elbow, single leg down dog things that I thought she was freaking nuts for the first few times around. Like, yeah, we did that in my class this morning. I'm like, this is a piece of cake. It's not. It's just, I practiced it and worked up to that. But just having the confidence to go take the live class, knowing that I am in a good enough physical shape at this point that I can do it. So all those are amazing confidence things. And like I said, that big, I can do it. Whether it's personality, whether it's physical, whatever, like that resonates in every area of your life. I had to reach out to a gym and ask them, to come teach there. And there's, several parts to that, and just, yeah, you can. And, that confidence is amazing that we have built on. Sorry, I have some crazy looking notes. So I have to take my own advice, because I've been kind of wanting to start a likes page. Because I see what surrounding myself with a positive, healthy community has done for me. And I think that everybody has those that pop up on their newsfeed all day, but they don't. It's because I have chosen to add them to my newsfeed. And if I can do that to somebody that is trying to get started, or feel like me and have no idea where to start, then that's worth it. And so I need to take my own advice and start a likes page, so that I can hopefully help anybody that may be part of that group. And we can, I can do that by teaching, like I said, reaching out and encouraging anybody, while I teach. And I don't think that people really realize, with Becky's page, I didn't really like any of her posts, even though I would read all of them word for word. I read Sarah's posts word for word, and I love reading hers every day. And so many other people, and those are incredibly encouraging throughout the day. And even if you don't get the likes, people are reading those. When I went to Summit last year, I didn't personally post anything about Summit, but I was tagged in several of the pictures. When I went to work, when I went to church, when I went anywhere after that, people were like, where did you go that you had so much fun? Nobody liked those. Nobody commented. Nobody did anything. I had no earthly idea that anybody even saw them. And people are coming up to me wow, you were having so much fun. What were you doing? People are watching, and they're taking it in, and seeing that consistency and you putting yourself out there is making a bigger impact than what you realize. So like I said, I've got to take my own advice and do that. But like I said, that's stepping out of my comfort zone, because I'm like, oh my gosh, what if nobody likes it? Well, I just told you there are several things that I read that I don't necessarily always like, but that they impacted me. So that's one of the things that I need, like I said, to take my own advice and do. To all you wonderful, wonderful ladies who are getting ready to go to Summit, I am so jealous. Last year was so much fun. And that was another time that I stepped out of my comfort zone. Like I said, I'm an introvert, and you want me to go stay in a house with these women who I do not know. And I'm like, what? This is crazy. It was away from my kids for the first time. It was driving to Nashville by myself, somewhere I had never been. But you know what? I did it. And that has stuck in my mind. And I have nothing but amazing, positive thoughts from that. And I am so sad that I don't get to go this year. But for those of you who get to go, eat it up, enjoy it, have a blast, because it is amazing to be surrounded by that many like-minded, positive people who are all after the same goals that you are. Is an amazing feeling. And to actually meet people in person that you have, been in these challenge groups with, for whether it be for a month, or whether it's been for 2 years, finally getting to see them, and you have a relationship before. The girls, I had never met them, but I feel like I had known them forever when we got there, because we knew that they had kids, and we knew where they come from and what they did at work and this, that, and the other. We did know them, but it was definitely fun to actually get to meet them and to hang out with them. So I just want to tell you guys to have fun and try to make it next year. Hopefully things will work out. So that's where I am.
All right. Thank you so much for sharing that, Christin. And I wish you were going to be there with us this year. I'm sad you're not. But I think you had on, so much of your journey, and a lot of those things that had stood out to me. I remember, last year when you came to Summit, and that was one of those shifting places where you had to decide if you were going to go for it or not. There were a lot of things that weren't comfortable about it, but you dug in and you decided to make it happen. And then another was I remember that bikini bathing suit picture that you posted within our group, and that being just a huge moment. And you've hit on so much of those things, that confidence being built, and that I can, and it's all those millions of teeny tiny little steps that you took along the way that made you have that confidence and that belief in yourself to say, I can. It wasn't like some huge moment. It was all that consistency, and all those times you showed up to your workout and you stuck to your meal plan and you did workouts while you were camping with your family, or you figured out a way to make it happen, and I think that's what our challengers need to hear. And for all of us, just as coaches too, it's none of these big things that make us get where we want to go or that make those shifts happen. It's the little things, the little that add up into that. And I'm so glad you brought up the coaching PIO, because I know that was just a huge thing. And I am a shy introvert, and this business has changed me and helped me to get out of that. I mean, I've shared before, back in college, I stared at the ground, so I didn't have to talk to people. So, I see so much of you and me. And so it's so exciting when I see you, step out and do all of these things, because I know what it feels like inside, that fear that's there, that you are like stepping on and crushing and going for, and you're saying, why not me? And I can. So I love hearing that. And I love hearing that you're starting a like page. I'll be looking for that really soon, because you just put it out here. But one question I just wanted to wrap up with was, so compared to beginning to now, what do you do now? How do you face it when you have a shift coming, when you feel that opportunity for something new that's coming up, like, when you face that, possibly taking that PIO class or teaching a PIO class? How do you face those shifting moments now compared to, what you would have done in the past?
I think before it was just, I'm too busy looking for excuses of why I couldn't make it happen. Whereas now, you can make excuses if you don't want to do things. I could, like the other day when I forgot my yoga mat when we went camping, so I couldn't do like anything on the ground. I was like, well, I guess I just won't exercise while we're here. Where I was like, no. What can I do that doesn't involve me getting on the ground? And I ran, which is not my favorite thing to do. But I was like, I don't have to. Well, and I was like, I could do country heat, but I was like, I'm not doing country heat where everybody and their brothers out here to watch me. That's something that we save for the privacy of our own home. But, what can I do? And it's that shift from making excuses to how can I overcome this? And making it work. And it's something that, like reaching out to a gym, like that was uncomfortable and that was scary. And I could have used that as an excuse. Like, I've never taught anything before. I have no clue what I'm doing. I only started exercising myself like a year and a half ago. What do I know? I could have used that. But now I'm like, no, it's uncomfortable. What's the worst that's going to happen? They say, no, I'm sorry. We want somebody with experience. Okay, well, I understand that. That's cool. So putting yourself out there and knowing that you might fail, but that's okay. But just not always looking for excuses and knowing that you can overcome those and it's an okay thing to try. And I think like the shift shop dude, Chris, sorry, his thing is try before you modify. Give it a try and see what happens. What's the worst that's going to have to happen? You go back to modifying. Okay, well, at least you tried. And the more that you try, the more that you're going to be able to do. So, yes.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Well, I'm very, very proud of you from day one to right now and all the changes that you've made. And I appreciate you getting on here and doing this tonight, because I know that was or is out of your comfort zone as well. But you have such a great story of just change over time and, just becoming a new person that I am becoming, and the true change and all of that. I truly, truly see that in you. So I appreciate you getting on here tonight and sharing that story so that other people can just hear it and get to know you more. So Thank you, girl. And to everybody else, I hope you guys have a great evening. Some of you I will see in 2 days, and I cannot wait to see you. And we will call that good for tonight. So see you later, guys. Thanks, Kristen.